Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl CHILDFREE LT, and I have a very special guest with me today. I have the sovereign woman on my channel, and I'm so grateful to have her on my channel today. So we're going to go into details about her child-free stance and also being marriage-free, and we just talk about how life has been for her in general. So the sovereign woman, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, just to get this started. The first time I actually saw you was on your YouTube channel. I was watching pretty much some child-free videos, and one of your child-free videos happened to pop up on my feed. So I was like, let me just watch this young lady because I wanted to. It's nice to see, first of all, a Black woman discussing about being child-free. So that really made me want to watch your video. So overall, how would you describe yourself as a child-free Black woman? How has life been for you?
Um, Life has been great. I have being child free because I've been adamant about that ever since I was a kid. So my entire life, I've tell people I don't want kids, I don't want to have kids, and um, I feel like I've gotten a lot of pushback. It hasn't been terrible. It didn't get really bad until I got on social media, I would say. But in like my everyday normal life, people will be like, "Oh, you'll change your mind when you're older or when you meet the right guy." That's pretty much it in person, right? There has been some circumstances throughout my life where people gave me a hard time, but I always get a kick out of like shutting people down. So it wasn't terrible. It was kind of, how you have your little snarky replies like already ready to go.
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
but I still feel like being child free is like the best decision I ever made in my entire life. I've accomplished a lot of stuff, but that is like at the top of my list. So my life is peaceful. I don't really have to worry about too much that's going on. And it's, well, with the women's rights stuff going on right now, it's the only thing, that I would say I'm kind of worried about. But outside of that, I just have a very peaceful life.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, man, child free is nothing but bliss.
I
Okay.
know, it really is.
Has your childhood impacted your decision about being child free at all?
um, I think so. I think being forced to babysit a lot played a big
Yeah.
part. I remember feeling like I don't want to do this. I want to go like ride my bike. I want to go play outside. I wanted to go, hang out with my friends or my cousin's house or whatever. And I
Mhm.
remember every time I was forced to babysit, just how upset it made me. Then over
Mhm.
over time, I got used to it. I would say when I finally got out the house, I was probably about 16, 17, and then it kind of ended. Like I was like, I'm grown now. Can nobody, make me do nothing. So I think that's a huge part. And also too, my mom, there's six of us that my mom had. My dad had three other sons outside of my mom, but my
Mhm.
mom used to always say, don't get pregnant, don't bring me no kids home. That was her biggest thing. And it always
Mhm.
stuck with me because I watched her suffer a lot as a single mom, and she
Mhm.
struggled a lot. And I just always knew, I was like, I don't want my life to be like that.
Mhm.
So watching all the women that I grew up with be single moms and how hard it was for them, that played a huge part. Like I would say that's probably about 80% of it. Just
Mhm.
knowing that I didn't want to repeat the same things.
Absolutely, for sure. So, being from a Black culture, the Black community, what are your maybe positive or negative experiences being child free around your family, your friends, or your colleagues?
Um, the negative stuff is just people just won't let it go. They just won't, no matter how much I say I'm not having kids, stop asking me. Every time I go around them, it's the same thing. When you gonna have some kids? Like they never stop. It never stops. Um, I would say that's probably the most negative as far as family and friends go. My friends, most of them, they're like, she ain't having no kids. Like they know me. It's crazy because I feel like my friends accept it more than my actual family. It's so
Mhm.
backwards. But yeah. that's been pretty much it, you know, just people not accepting that I know what's best for me,
Mm-hmm.
and they know me better than I know myself, and you know, so it's just
So,
um I feel like it's not acceptable. It's beginning to be more acceptable, but it's not, it wasn't growing up. It was just like unheard of for some people. I don't know. But it's
mhm.
definitely changing now, especially with social media. We can meet each other and see that there are so many women all over the world, Black women in particular, that feel the same way. And it's great to see. It really is.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. So, did your parents ever drop hints about wanting kids for you?
Not really. So I lost my mom when I was 19. No, I had just turned 20. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, before that, we never really had that conversation. I remember one time me and her got into an argument, me and my mom, and she was like, just wait until you grow up and have a daughter. I mean, have kids, and you're gonna have a daughter, and she gonna give you the same problems you gave me, and blah blah. I was like, well, I ain't having no kids, so now what? You know, we've
Mhm.
had that conversation a couple times, but that was it. We never really, I don't know how my mom would feel that I'm child free now. Like if she was still alive, I don't know if she would be okay with it. Or I don't know. And my dad is like, whatever makes you happy. Hey, if you don't want kids, I feel you. That's his attitude, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. But I do
Oh,
wonder sometimes, like, how my mom would feel if she was alive. I mean, she has grandkids. All my other brothers and sisters have kids, except me and
mhm.
my oldest brother. We're the only two that don't want kids. So
Okay. Yeah, definitely having that niece and nephew can definitely make you stay with that child for your life because you can
mm-hmm.
watch like, yeah, I made the best decision for me. Yeah, because sometimes these
Definitely,
be a handful.
definitely.
Um, have you ever thought about getting any procedures done if you currently don't have one to make sure that you don't have any kids?
Oh yeah, I thought about it. Uh, I would say when I was 19, that was the first time I inquired about wanting to get my tubes tied, and they were like, "Oh, you're just a kid. Oh, you don't know what you want." And
Mhm.
then I was told when I turned at least 25, or if I have at least two kids. So I turned 25. I went back. I'm like, what about now? They're like, no, you have to at least be 27. So then I'm like, so I got that every few years. I would say I finally gave up. So I'm 39 now. The last time I inquired about getting my tubes tied, I think I was like 35 maybe.
Mhm.
Um, and I just gave up after that. I was like, okay, well, I'm not that far away from menopause, maybe. So whatever, we'll just see. Outside of that, that was the only thing I've ever considered was trying to get my tubes tied or burnt or whatever they call it, you know, removed. I don't know. But I
Mhm.
just gave up because I'm like, they're gonna keep giving me the runaround, telling me I don't know what I want. What if you meet the right guy? I'm like, well, the right guy doesn't want kids either. If you know what I mean, if I was pressed about that, that's one of the, that is one of those things that irritates me the most. With the
Mhm.
child free bingo stuff, is like when you meet the right guy, you will try. Oh my god, it just boils my blood. But anyways,
Yeah, like people that we don't know ourselves well enough that we
yeah,
don't know we want our life. It's like we know we don't want kids. One probably because we see the kids that y'all got. We know how you're struggling y'all doing right now.
right,
So
exactly,
now it's like y'all
exactly,
the struggle. Oh no, we good.
exactly.
So society has rules and may be an agenda about certain topics and issues. So what are your thoughts about how child-free women are portrayed in the media and society?
Mm, we're definitely portrayed in a negative light, I think. Um, that is changing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's slowly changing. It's like these little small increments. We are making progress, but the idea of like the nuclear family has been pushed on us for so long. Anything outside of that is going to be viewed negatively, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I feel like I'm in a place where I'm just waiting to see like how it changes in my lifetime. So many more of us are coming out, and saying I'm child free. I don't want kids. I don't care what y'all got to say about it. Because when I got on YouTube, because I got on YouTube just as a person, just to have an account, no, not as a content creator back in 2013. And I was looking for child free content, and it just wasn't a lot. There was a few people I can think of now. They're not even on YouTube anymore, I don't think. And I was searching and searching, and I'm like, fast forward to now, it's everywhere. Like I love when I get on TikTok, YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
IG, and I'm seeing all these people, more child-free authors write books about it, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so great. Um, I feel like the narrative is slowly changing, right? I'm curious to see where it goes though. Like the next 5-10 years, especially with the whole Roe versus Wade thing. Like a lot more
Yeah.
people are gonna opt out of, having kids altogether. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm just curious to see how, what laws they're gonna come up with, because more and more women are choosing not to have kids, how it's gonna affect us, how they're gonna make us pay. I see that coming too. Somehow we're gonna be punished, I think. But on the positive side, it could change in our favor too. It could make them, which this is a stretch, but it could make them say, hey, there's nothing we can do. 40% of women, don't want kids now. So we got to figure out something else. Now we got to change this structure from the nuclear family to looking at everybody as individuals now and going from there. So we'll see. I'm curious to see how it'll turn out though.
For
Like if
sure, for sure.
I'm sorry, like if I were, I'm curious to see if I were the portrayal of child-free women will change, in our lifetime.
Okay. So women normally have a certain window to produce a child. So have you ever thought about if you were to change your mind in the future, would adoption be a possibility for you?
No, never considered it. When
Okay.
I tell you my mind is closed on that, nope, never considered it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm with that too. I'm around your age. Well, I'm 38, so I'm a year younger, but
Okay.
I'm just like, listen, I'm pushing 40 here in a couple of years. So I'm like not thinking about having that responsibility. I'm thinking about making sure my funds is good. I'm making sure that I can afford to
Facts.
live.
Right. Exactly.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
I gotta think about the kids right now. I cannot. I just can't. So, especially like just getting the older that I get, I love my peace and my
Yeah.
quiet, and I just love certain things that's going on in my life right now. It's like, man, if I had a child right now, that would so be affected, and I want to be able to.
I wouldn't either. And to be honest, even if I ever wanted kids and I made it to this age and not having them, I still wouldn't do it. Because I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm 40. I'm gonna be 40. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to be chasing around a toddler when I'm going into middle age. I just, you know what I mean? I just don't know. So yeah, even if I wanted to, I'm like, I would have been one of those women that was like, if I don't have a baby by 40 or whatever, I'm not having any.
Mhm.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
never considered, no. Mm-mm. Just waking up in the morning, like this morning, I just laid in bed till like 12.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I could just get
Yeah.
up whenever I want, do what I want. I cannot trade this in. I would never. Mm-mm.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so let's discuss child free and dating. So, you have a mindset when it comes to marriage. You are marriage free as well. So we'll get into that in a second. So, but how has dating been for you being child free? Are you coming across like people who are maybe guys who are parents and they are consider dating you because you're child free, or how has dating been for you overall?
It hasn't been bad for me. For a long time, I didn't even date men with kids, and it was easy to find that. Nowadays, that's hard to find. But I also don't date anymore, anyways. So, any guy that I've ever talked to or will talk to in the future, they know I'm not having kids. It's non-negotiable. If you want kids, check up the deuces. I'm not the one, but I don't date anymore anyway. So I'm like literally. And here's the thing: I'm not anti-marriage for other women because
Mm-hmm.
I got friends getting married soon, and my sisters probably one of them want to get married again, another one, So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
anti-marriage for other women. I would never like try to vote that they get rid of marriage or anything, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
anti-marriage for myself. Like
Okay.
I just don't see myself ever getting. For the same reason why I don't want kids. Same reason. Why I
Mhm.
don't want responsibility. I just don't.
Okay.
So,
So,
oh, go ahead.
no,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I wanted to get into the 4B movement with you because I guess there's this story going around. I think it's in Tokyo or some country. I forgot which one, but or not
Korea.
country. No, Korea. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I guess there's this 4B movement going around in Korea right now that the women over there are not getting married. They don't want to get married. They don't want to have kids and things like that. So I know you did a live on your YouTube channel a few weeks ago discussing that. So what? But if you want to quickly discuss your thoughts about that whole movement.
Yeah, I'm completely for the 4B movement. I'm curious to know how it's going to work out here in the States. I feel like a lot of women here, at least on social media, I don't really know like as far as everywhere else, but a lot of them in their words have already been for being this whole time, right? For the last few years, the last couple decades. I never knew with so many women out there that were celibate or abstinent or date free, not dating anymore, gave up on men. I'm just like, wow, it's a lot of us out here.
Yeah.
I just the only thing that worries me about the 4B is the response from the males.
Mhm.
I fear they won't leave us alone. So I don't know. I feel like it might turn violent. I don't know if you read the reports, but ever since they overturned Roe versus Wade in Texas alone, the SA pregnancy resulting from being ARD went up to 26,000 or something within just a few months. And I think it's total. And I think in all of Texas or wherever, I think it's like 60 something, 64, 63, 64,000 essays. And I think 20,000 of those resulted in pregnancies or something like that. I got to read it again. But I'm like, if the guys are doing that, are these women saying no? Did they close up shop? And like totally don't want to date, and these guys did this, right? So because of that, I feel like the 4B movement like especially all over the country, not just Texas. I feel like it may have that. That's a possibility that may be another result as well. Like a lot of us will probably be under attack in one way or another. They'll probably like SA, more women unalive, more women. I don't know. Like that's the only thing that worries me about it. Cause guys just won't leave women alone. Like, even if we're just like walking down the street and they're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I got a boyfriend or whatever. And they won't leave you alone. Or I'm not interested. Or you won't give me a phone number. They won't even leave us alone in normal settings like that. So when it comes down to something major like this shift, all these women are choosing to not date. A lot of us don't even make eye contact with guys in public. We don't even want to be seen. We don't want to be bothered. It just makes me wonder how dangerous it will get for us. That's the only thing that worries me about the 4B. If guys left us alone, because they came out, I don't know if you heard, they came up with the 4G movement or whatever crap,
Yeah.
which is a joke. But we're like, are y'all for real? Are you sure y'all gonna really leave us alone? Like, but we know that's not gonna happen, right? So I'm for it. I just want women to be safe, and I'm like, whatever state you're in, if you're able to get you a pew pew, you need to get one because I think we're gonna need something, But yeah, outside of the possible male violence that will come behind it, I am all the way for the 4B. I'm so glad to see more women just keeping to themselves and just mind their own business and not seeing, I feel like the single mother rates will go down, and you know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of benefit to it. A lot of women just won't be miserable and going through unnecessary stuff,
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So we hear, I'm sure, plenty of child free stereotypes about us. So we hear that being child free, or you must hate kids. Being child free, or you must have a dozen cats at home. Or a lot of, or just or you're selfish. Being child free. So is there a certain child free stereotype that you feel that you don't fit in?
I don't hate kids.
Mm-hmm.
People think I hate. I'm like, no, I don't hate. That's kind of, and I hear a lot of child-free women say that they I've heard, not a lot, but I've heard a few say I hate kids, and I'm like, why? Like, how do you hate kids? I can understand you not want to be around them, but hating them to me is such a strong word. That's the only one that bothers me, as far as like people thinking I'm just like this kid unaliver, or you know what I mean? I'm just like, why did it just harm the kids, right? That's the only one that bothers me. I get told I'm selfish, and you know,
Uh-huh.
what's the point of my life? And some guys on TikTok told me to unalive, and a few women actually told me to unalive myself, because what's the point of my life if I don't have kids? I'm like, really? But people are nuts. But anyways, the one about me hating kids, that's the one that bothers me the most. It's like, no, I don't hate kids. That's really ridiculous. I actually am more sensitive to kids because, you know, they were forced into existence, and they have to deal with whatever parents they have. They got to deal with society. They got to deal with possible abuse, neglect, and I feel like I actually care more about kids than some people. I know parents that don't care about their kids that much, but
Oh
that's the
yeah.
that I think bothers me the most, that
Oh
I
yeah.
get into. Yeah.
Yeah. The one that parents don't even care about their kids. I'm hearing stories recently about parents who are leaving their kids alone, like young kids, leaving them alone and going off for days. And I'm
I
like,
just saw something like that. Yeah, I'm like, what?
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. One
And that,
one lady,
oh,
sorry?
go ahead. Go ahead. You probably finna say what I'm finna say.
Yeah, I just heard like just recently there was this one mother who went on a cruise for a whole week and she left her 6 and 8 year old by themselves.
Yeah.
Um, Another mother, I think up in Massachusetts, left her child alone and went to some boyfriend's house. She was staying like for a night or two, and they found the child and he was unalive. So it's like these parents just like they really don't care. They're going to leave these kids alone no matter what age. Now, if you're like a teenager, you kind of fend more for yourself, but you're leaving young babies at home
Yeah.
alone because you want to party. So you should never become a parent in the first place.
Yeah.
So
And, and I hate that they always leave out stories like that when they say, "Oh, you don't want to have kids, and you don't know what you're missing, and you know, you don't have a purpose in life." But they never want to talk about the parents who like unalive their kids, or that beat their kids, or choose a man over their kids, or what, you know what I mean? So like, those stories need to come out more too. But I was gonna say that girl who went crazy with the solar eclipse. Did you see that story? And
oh
she
yeah,
maybe out the moving car or something, and it died, and then her other daughter lived or whatever. I'm just like, what in the world? That girl's gonna grow up with so much trauma.
oh yeah,
That's the stuff
oh
I
god,
worry about, like the survivors of stuff like that. Like, what are they gonna go through when they get older? you know
yeah,
but
yeah, absolutely,
nobody like talking about the mothers that do
mhm,
horrible things, right?
absolutely. So, have you ever experienced any discrimination with being child free at your job?
Not really. Not with like the higher ups necessarily, just coworkers. I remember one time a girl got mad because I didn't want to pick up her days. 'Cause she was talking about taking her kids to Disneyland or Disney World, Florida,
Mhm.
whichever one is in Florida. I don't remember. I don't know. And I guess she was going around asking people, and everybody said no. And then it got back. She asked me, and I was like, no, because she said, she's like, what you gonna do? What you doing this weekend? Or next weekend? Because she asked the weekend before, and I was like, oh, probably nothing. Go home and just relax. And then she was like, oh, is there any way you can pick up these days? Because I want to take my kids and blah blah. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna be able to do it. And she just looked at me like, you just told me you wasn't doing nothing. She gave me that look.
Mhm.
Um, and I look back at her like, no, I'll probably just look at the ceiling, look at the walls, but no, I'm not. And people that I work with, no matter where, I've worked so many places, I'm like, don't ask me to come in on my day off. Don't call me on I'm off. Don't
Mhm.
don't bother me. So, the very fact that she asked me was crazy in and of itself. And then it got back to me that she was like talking shit behind my back, saying, stuff like, she act like she's so busy, or she act like she just has a life, like she's better than others. They said she was saying stuff like that about me, and I'm just like, you that
Mm-hmm.
mad that just call off, do what I do. If I request a day off, actually I don't really request days off, right? I'm like, I'm telling you that I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
be here this day. You know what I mean? So do that, like have that mindset. Outside of that, women just they would just gossip and have negative things to say. But as far as like dealing with like discrimination from like the supervisors or the hiring person or whatever, no, I can't really recall a time where they discriminated. But I do know that they always talk shit about me, for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, why should I, put my day off where I want to relax on hold for you? Like, you're just a colleague. I'm sorry. So you
I
need to
know.
plan better ahead, especially planning a major trip like going to Disney. Why don't you
Yeah,
start planning?
that's what
Like,
I'm saying. I was looking at her like, you just now, like, what? I don't even know how to leave her story, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know if that's what she was really trying to do, but maybe it was, but I don't know. Either way, I'm like, my best friend could ask me to pick up, and I probably still wouldn't. So it's my day off. I'd be looking forward to my days off. So no, sorry.
mhm, exactly, exactly. So some people may think that if you don't have kids by a certain age, that there's something wrong with you, right? So how do you respond to people like that?
I just it depends on my mood. Like, I remember when I went to Miami a few years ago, and a girl, she was like, there was another lady who asked me, did I have kids? I said no. And this other girl who nobody was talking to, she jumped in the conversation. I told the lady, I was like, no, actually, I'm not having kids. She said, oh, no, I don't have any kids. She said, what are you waiting for? How old are you? And at the time I was, I think 37, I believe, 36. And I told her my age, and she's like, what are you waiting for? I was like, oh, I'm really not waiting on anything. I don't want kids. So the girl comes in and she's like, my son said that same dumb ass shit. This is my first time meeting this woman, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
She was a friend of my best friend. They're no longer friends anymore now, anyways. But I was looking at her like, girl, if you if you don't get out, she was just real rude about it. And I just she said it like it was dumb. Like my son told me that same dumb shit, like something is wrong with you. I was like, no, I
Mm-hmm.
think I told her, I said, I think it would be dumb for me to have kids knowing I don't want them and putting
Mm-hmm.
a child through unnecessary trauma. That's
Mm-hmm.
something would be wrong with me then if I did that. And she just
Mm-hmm.
looked at me and she just like walked off. But yeah, people do that all the time. I'm just like, it doesn't matter what you say. You can call me whatever name you want. I'm still not having kids. Like, are you done now? Okay, I'm still not having kids. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm still not
Right.
gonna do it. So now what? Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I just get smart back, and depending on who the person is, depending on my mood that day, if I feel like being petty or if I just don't have the energy, it really just depends. But you know,
Mm-hmm. I think people see, especially, I hate to bring race into this, I'm sorry, but as Black women that know that they don't want kids and they see that a Black woman is thriving, she has her a head on her shoulder, she's doing her thing. And some people are kind of threatened by that, and
mm,
especially community where we see our relatives or maybe friends who have kids and we see that they're absolutely miserable. And some people may not realize that, hey, parenthood was a choice for you. You didn't have to be a parent if you didn't want to. But
right?
because of societal pressures and maybe family pressures, saying, well, give me some grandbabies, we're gonna do this, that, and the other. They were maybe pressured into having a kid. Now they're miserable, but they see women like us who don't want kids and we're thriving and doing stuff for ourselves and taking care of business pretty much. And now we're like, okay, well, why is she like living this carefree life and I'm like over here struggling? So some
Yep,
people may be by that. So
they are. And some of them I feel sorry for, because I feel like some people did get okey doked. You know what I mean? Like they were told, the kids, the husband, the this, the that, this is what you need to be happy. They fell
mhm,
for it. They
mhm,
realized this isn't making me happy. It actually is making me miserable in
mhm,
many ways. And then they're looking at us, like you say, and they're like, And the way that they deal with it is to call us names and say our lives don't mean anything. I always say it's so easy to spot the ones who are miserable because they come with the name calling, tell you your life is useless. You know, happy mothers, in my opinion, they don't care. They're like they understand. They would, if anything, they're supportive and they understand why some of us wouldn't want kids. But the ones that have a negative like reaction or negative comments, those are the ones that are miserable to me. And I think they got okie dokes. And some of them I feel sorry for because I'm like, it's got to be hard to like make such a permanent decision that you can't take back and then watch other people around you thriving really and not going through the same stuff. So some of them I give grace. The other ones I'm just like, whatever. That's on you, you know?
Exactly. You're the ones that have to take care of those kids, not me. So there's a lot of conversation about legacy. So, which I feel, I personally see that a lot more going with men, but with women than to women. So, what would your legacy be like? You know, once you, of course, we're all gonna die one day, but you know, but once you're, what do you feel like your legacy will be like?
To be honest, I don't really give that much thought. Because I guess I don't care. I guess. I think if I wanted people to remember me for something, it would be that I stayed true to who I was, and that was it. You know, I didn't want something, I didn't do it. If I wanted something, I went after it. That's it. You know, that was it. I don't, because I did a video about this last year where I was talking about I don't care about, because people always say, don't you care about a legacy? And I'm like, no, I really don't, because I don't think kids are a legacy anyways, number one. And number two, I feel like we're all gonna die. You may or may not be remembered within a certain amount of time. You know, I feel like after about 50 or so years after your death, everybody you knew will also be dead. I'm just, you know what I mean? For the most part, it's going to be a whole new set of people. So unless you're doing something significant in society, no one's going to remember anybody. I mean, we remember people in, you know, because they did something in history. They did something really big and good or really bad, right? And we remember them. But if you're just an average normal person that just gets up and go to work every day and just live your life and stay out the way, people will forget, you know? So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People get upset when I say stuff like that, but I'm like, it's really true. And do you have a certain last name? Do you have a certain family that you're from that did great things in society? If not, no one's gonna like, there is no legacy. You have to do something. And I'm not out here trying to cure cancer or, you know, or anything. I'm just trying to like live a peaceful life. I'm not trying to do anything. So, you know, I just don't care because I feel like I know some people believe in like afterlives or afterlives and stuff like that. I don't really believe in any of that. I think once we're gone, that's it. So there's really nothing really for me to, I guess, worry about. I don't know. I think that's kind of like ego. A lot of people want to be remembered for whatever reason, and it's like, does it really matter? I don't know. Everybody has a different view on that, but to me, it doesn't matter. It's like we're born, we live however long we're gonna live, and then we die, and then it's a continued cycle of that, and it just goes on and on. You know, generation after generation. We're just here in this section of human history, and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really put that much thought into it. It's just what I care about is what I'm doing while I'm alive, like right now, and just living a stress-free, peaceful life. That's literally all I care about. You know what I mean? I don't care about nothing else. I really don't. So.
Okay. Well, if you have a few more minutes, I have some subscriber questions that they reached out to me. They wanted me to ask you.
Okay.
So, first question is, as a child-free single woman, what is your source of joy and happiness?
For me, just living in peace, honestly. So I'll tell people, this is a hard question to answer because a lot of people, I'll tell them stuff and they're like, oh, that sounds boring. But like waking up in the morning, especially now we're in the spring going into the summer, and when I just hear like the sound of birds outside, like chirping, I don't know, I just get happy, right? Then I'll go outside, I may do some yard work. I may do whatever is like therapeutic for me. So like cleaning up, doing yard work. I just started building stuff. Like I'm getting ready to build me a bed frame next. I built me a deck for my backyard last summer. And so now I'm into
Mm-hmm.
building stuff, right? So that is little stuff like that, just like being able to wake up first, first of all, being alive. That's the first thing. And
Right.
just being able to just do what I want. I just, if I don't want to do anything, I don't have to. If I feel like going here, I'm able to pay my bills. I'm just able to like live, and I'm grateful for the small things. Like I have a gratitude list. And I say this list in my head, when I get up in the morning, like I'm grateful I have a house. I'm grateful when I need water, I can just go get water. I can go make myself some food. I can just the small things. I don't know. It's just days I just wake up and I just be happy for no reason. But I think that's what it is. I just have all my needs met and I'm in peace. Like no relationship stuff, no kids, no family drama. Like, because I stay away from family a lot too nowadays. But there's just nothing for me to really worry about. I don't know if that makes sense. But just like just having this bubble that I live in, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
that's what brings me the most joy. Just having the small things that are really free, I would say, in life.
Okay. So another question a subscriber asked me, she asked, as a 23-year-old young woman who is also child free, I find it hard to meet a young man who doesn't want children. What advice would you give me in this limited dating market?
Oh, yikes. I don't know. um, when I was 23, I didn't date men with kids. That was my biggest thing. I ain't dating nobody with no kids because I ain't want to deal with no baby mama drama. I ain't want to deal with nothing. So it's hard to 23.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know how to answer that because I would just say if a guy wants kids, just don't waste your time with them.
Right.
And to be honest, even guys who say they don't want kids, most of them tend to want kids later on down the road.
Yeah.
So what you think about that? Because I feel like it's gonna be slim pickings, but there are men out there who don't want kids and they stick by it. So
Yeah.
I would just tell I would just tell her to be patient. Don't waste time dating guys that want kids one day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't let anybody talk you into having kids, no matter how much, no matter how in love you think you are or whatever. Don't do it if you know you don't want kids, because I've seen this happen too many times. You'll end
Mm-hmm.
up having them kids for that man. The relationship most likely won't work out. And then now you're stuck with a kid that you never wanted. So you can't
Right.
compromise on something like that. So if you find out that a man wants kids, either now or later, decide in that moment if you're going to take him serious or not. I wouldn't. And I would say just be patient. The man is out there that doesn't want kids, but I feel like it's hard to find, because even men who have no plans on even taking care of their kids will still say, oh, but I want kids one day, but I want to have kids. And it's so
Mm-hmm.
tricky because a lot of them don't actually want to be fathers. So you fall for that, and you'll just end up like the rest of the women out there that, I say got okey doked, and I hate to say it like that, but that's really tough. 23, I would say focus on your career or whatever you got going. Get your life together first. Focus on
Right.
that. The guys will come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be trying to be in a relationship right now because it's gonna hold you back. And
Yeah.
more than one. You know, that's it. Focus on you, focus on what you want. The guy will come in the future. Don't waste time with guys that don't want what you want. It's just they're gonna find ways to try to sabotage you. They're gonna find ways to destroy you in some, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, don't even waste time. I wouldn't even say don't even date them, really. Once you find out they want kids one day, or that they want to be married, or they want 5 babies or whatever, just leave them alone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's the best advice I can give. honestly.
I totally agree. I mean, 23 is definitely very, very young to really
Yeah.
know, especially in the dating market, especially if you know in your heart that you don't want children. I think you should just focus on yourself, focus on your plans, what career you want to do, and just like you mentioned, the guys will come later on down the road. So just 23, man, live, travel, do what you want to do, and just focus on yourself right now.
Go to the
So
club. That's what I was doing. I was clubbing at 23. I was like, I had
oh
got
God.
one of my exes proposed to me when I was 22, and I was on lockdown as a kid. My mom never let us do nothing. So when I was old enough to get out and go partying and stuff, listen, the last thing I was thinking about was getting married, having no kids, and nothing. I was out having fun. I became a flight attendant. I was traveling and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta live your life. 20s are what I like to say F up years, but at the same time, they shouldn't necessarily be. They should be the years where you really get on your square, because your life will be so much easier in your 30s, 40s, 50s. Go to college if that's what you want to do. Get that out the way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then focus on everything else. But I was too busy traveling and partying at 23. Like, you still, Front of All ain't even closed yet. So just, you know what I mean? Just enjoy yourself and be smart, you know. But yeah, I was a clubber, so that's what I was doing at 23. I had a good old time. I be thinking back to some of them days, like, man, I had so much fun in my 20s. I really did.
Yeah. And we kind of touched bases on this question earlier, but I have another subscriber. So they asked, why do you think that why are married men with children so offended and bothered by my single and child-free life? Like, why do you think that married men can be bothered by that?
There's a few reasons, I think. The first thing is, men mostly are all about conquering and controlling something. And many of them feel like women are supposed to be tamed by somebody. And that's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't think a lot of married men are really happy, like happily married.
Right.
They just get married for the benefits of like free labor and the image that having a wife and kids give them to their co-workers or their friends or their dad or whoever. You know, it's they spend too much time in child-free women's business because we're supposed to be tamed. This woman is supposed to be, she's supposed to belong to somebody. She's supposed to be on lockdown. How dare she be out here free living her best life? And guys also know that they use babies to tie women down, right? Even if they're not going to really be there for real, they're not going to participate in the kids' life. A lot of them don't care about their kids. Some of them do, obviously, but a lot of them don't. And you, as a child-free woman, how dare you be free? How dare you not allow a man to trap you and tie you down and have you in the house barefoot and pregnant where you belong? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's how a lot of them look at women. We're property to a lot of them anyway. And property shouldn't be free to roam, you know what I mean, out in the streets. You shouldn't be going on trips. You shouldn't be dressing a certain way. You shouldn't wear makeup. You shouldn't wear weave. You're not supposed to be doing, you're supposed to be barefoot and pregnant. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And I touched on the fact that a lot of married men, I've never met a faithful one ever. To me, they all cheat. That's just my own personal, I can't say all, but it feels like it. I'm like, dang, is there any faithful married men out here? So a lot of them are not even happy. That's why they are out in the real world and on social media with their nose in other people's business. Because I feel like happily married people are not arguing with people in comment sections. They're not telling you a harlot, or somebody called me a Jezebel about a week ago, which I thought was funny. You know what I mean? You're not doing that. Like, I'm like, if I was your wife, I would be pissed to know that my husband is somewhere on social media arguing with women for being child-free. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's so disheartening. I'm like, who are y'all's wives? Because, oh my God. But that's what I think it is. They just, they feel like women are supposed to be conquered, basically. How dare you be free, basically.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially argue with a woman like that. It's like, are you serious? Like, you ain't got nothing better to do?
No, they don't. That's the sad part. They really don't.
My last question. So, what advice would you give a young man or a woman who is on the fence about having children, but they may be getting pressure from society or family? What kind of advice would you give to a man or woman?
I would say follow your gut. If your gut is telling you you don't really know, I feel like if you have to question it, it's probably best that you don't do it in the first place. If you're questioning it, because I feel like if it's something that you are sure you want, you're probably not going to question it that much to begin with. You're going to find every excuse to do it because it's something that you really want, right? If you're questioning it, don't rush into anything. Follow your gut. Just under, understand both sides, right? They say there's pros to parenthood. I don't see any, but whatever. Okay. But I would say look at the pros of it, look at the cons of it. And understand that a lot of times people pressure people into having kids. And I hate to say this because misery loves company. And I think a lot of people need to understand that a lot of parents want to feel like their decision to have kids is validated, and it's validated to them by looking around and seeing more people have kids. And if they have any say so or a hand in talking you into it, the better. Like they feel more satisfied with that. But some of them, I think they do it on purpose, and some of them I think it's probably subconscious. Like they probably don't know that they're miserable and they want company, but they just feel like this is what you're supposed to do. This is normal, or this is what society says you're supposed to be doing. But then you got the ones that know exactly what they're doing and they just want you to be as miserable as they are. So don't take the pressure personally. Understand that people fall in line with what society want because a lot of people don't have minds of their own. So you can't go off of what everybody else is doing. Everybody else is kind of miserable. They're always complaining about stuff. And, you got to really look at people's lives and just how they live, the things they complain about every day. And you can kind of deduce from that, these people don't really seem very happy. Every time I talk to this person, they're complaining about money. They're complaining about the neighborhood. They're complaining about their job. They're complaining about the kids. They're complaining about the spouse. They're always complaining. So are you really happy? And if you look around and you pay attention to all of that, you will come to the conclusion that the vast majority of the people around you are probably not happy. So therefore, you probably shouldn't take advice from people that aren't even where they want to be, unless their advice is, hey, don't end up like me. You know what I mean? That's the only time you can ensure that they're giving you some good advice. They're like, hey, my life is effed. Don't be like me. But that's what I would say. I feel like questioning it is kind of a red flag in and of itself. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I actually asked this question on my community tab on my channel a few days ago about if you had to talk to a person who was on the fence about having kids, what kind of questions would you ask them about, parenthood? And a lot of them mentioned about, are you financially stable enough to carry a kid? Are you talking about if anything were to happen to your spouse or your partner, are you able to be a single parent? Because I'm seeing that a lot of people are not staying together these days. So a lot of people are raising children in single parent households, and they're able to. A lot of people are saying that they want to have that quote unquote village, but a lot of people are even grandparents are coming out saying they don't even want to have grandkids. They don't take care of it. They know that they will probably be the bulk, would cover the bulk of that responsibility. So I was reading a story on Reddit a few weeks ago about this lady and her husband. They were adamant they were child free, did not want to have any kids, but her mom was pressuring her into having one because she wanted to be a grandma so bad. So finally, the woman caved in, had a child, and the grandma, I guess she got a job opportunity in another country, so she had to up and leave because she had a job opportunity. So it's like you never know
what. Oh my God!
Yeah, so it's like, hey, you're the one who begged me to freaking give you a grandkid, and it's like now you have to leave. So you never know what kind of circumstance that a village may have.
That
I mean,
sounds like a setup. I'm sorry to say that.
Yeah.
Because there are parents that will do that. I know people in my family that you want to believe that parents want the best for their kids by default, but there are some parents that don't want their kids to do better than them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh yeah.
sometimes they will set you up just like that person. It sounds like they will set up. Like, dang, you ain't even gonna consider being the village for the grandkid you begged for. It's almost like, I don't know these people obviously, but oh my god, I would
Mm-hmm.
be pissed. Do you understand how pissed I would be? But I also knew somebody who was saying their village was her mom and her auntie.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, oh, well, we're gonna help you, have the baby. She was thinking about getting rid of it. She kept it. The mom and the auntie died in a car accident. They were like on their way somewhere together, and they got into a car accident and they died. And I think she was like 6 months at the time or 7 months or something. So she was too far along. So it was like, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know. I remember, and I have a story of my own too. I remember when I had a pregnancy scare back when I was in my 20s, and my
Uh-huh.
best friend, me and her grew up together. We had 20 something years of like friendship. She was like, if you are pregnant, I'll be there for you and blah blah blah. And I knew she would have, because she's like, the way she took care of her niece, that her niece was her baby. Like that was her baby. And she loved kids. She was great with kids. I had no doubt in my mind that she, would be there. But anyway, she ended up dying from lupus complications. And
Oh,
all I could think about some years after the fact, when I thought about it, was like, what if I did? I wasn't pregnant, by the way, which was great. But it made me think, what if I was pregnant? What if I did have the baby, thinking she was going to be my village, or, my person to be there, and then she died? And just,
uh-huh.
as selfish as it may sound, I just would have been so pissed, right? Because you need help. You do need a village. But I always caution people against that. Like, don't ever have kids based on somebody else, what they say they're going to do. A man, even your husband, people switch up. People die. People lose interest. People fall out of love, whatever. You just don't know. People move away to other countries for job opportunities, right? So you just never know. People go to jail. People end up in comas. You really don't know what the future holds. So it's like, you don't, and I tell women too, like on TikTok and stuff, I'm like, don't have, if you want kids, have them, but never have as many kids. Don't have more kids than you can handle if you ended up a single mother. So if your husband's saying, I want 5 kids, but you like, I just want 2, have 2. Don't get 5 kids, because when he gets tired of you, because he will a lot of the times, you're going to be stuck with all 5 of those kids by yourself when he moves on to a younger woman, because a lot of them do that, so don't be bamboozled. Don't be fooled into, but that's just me. It could be a bias because, I'm child free, but you can't compromise on that. Having kids that's not something you can compromise on. Like, you can compromise on what state to live in and what car to buy or whatever, but when it comes to something permanent like kids, and knowing as a woman you're most likely going to be the one taking care of the kid, when and if the relationship ends, you can't compromise on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this has been such a great conversation. I'm so happy that I reached out to you. Like I said, I've been wanting you to get on my channel for a while after seeing your child free video. So I had a lot of great responses from people when I first mentioned I was going to have you on. Everybody
Oh,
was looking
really?
forward. Yeah. Yeah. When I
Oh,
had you on my,
cool.
yeah, I posted on my community tab probably a few weeks ago. They're like, oh my God, I love her channel. I can't wait for this conversation. So I'm so happy that
I
I
wonder if
reached.
I saw it or not. I don't know if I saw it or not.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think you didn't respond though. I think you said you're looking forward to it. Maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know.
You know what? I've been on so many TikTok lives lately, and I've just been everywhere. I be forgetting now. So I'm like, I don't know if I did or not. Maybe I did. I'll go back and check.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, because I got a great response from a lot of people saying they couldn't wait for this conversation. So, and I'm so happy that I reached out to you. So,
Yeah.
before we end, I wanted to go ahead and put the spotlight on you. So, if you have anything that you want to promote, this is your time to shine. And also, if you want to mention where people can follow you on social media, you can go ahead and have a spotlight on you for that.
Nothing to promote at the moment, but y'all can follow me, the Sovereign Woman on YouTube and the Sovereign Woman on TikTok for however long TikTok is in the US, right? We don't know. They're supposed to, allegedly in a few months, it might be gone. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm on IG. I mean, I have an IG account, but I'm really not on, I don't really post that much on there. If they do ban TikTok, I probably will as my secondary platform. I'll probably be on there more. I'm thinking about getting a Patreon. A few people told me I should get one. I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But if they get rid of TikTok, I probably will in the future get a Patreon. But for now, just YouTube and TikTok, the Sovereign Woman.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, once again, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Please make sure you also follow me on social media, ChildFree LT on Instagram, ChildFree LT on TikTok. And if you want to be featured on my channel for a child-free interview, please make sure that you send me your email request at childfreeblackwoman@yahoo.com. So thank you so much again for your time. I do appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up, you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I'll check you guys out in the next video. Bye, guys.